Good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for all of you here on Speed Gaming. We have Game 3 between Bonta and Linlinlin tonight. Bonta took Game 1 by about 5 minutes. Linlinlin took Game 2 with a forfeit from Bonta. I'll kind of recap Game 2 in a little bit here. For now, I am Mentos Manic, joined this morning by Professor Renderer. How are you doing?
Good morning, everyone. I am doing great.
So yeah, we kind of covered this a little bit in the pre-stream chat, but yesterday, Bonta got randoed very hard. There was a hammer on Catfish that he literally last locationed. There was a hookshot in T-Rock that he was on pace to last location when Linlinlin got done. At that point, he went ahead and forfeited. He didn't want to play out the rest of the seed, which still had a ways to go for him. So he chose to make today's race standard to get rid of even a little bit of that variance that cost him so hard yesterday.
Yeah, putting standard pretty much just puts everyone on equal footing for this first couple of minutes.
Yeah, very much so. Also, I do want to give a shout out to anyone in the audience who does speak French. This race is being rebroadcast on the French Speed Gaming channel as well. If you want to head over there, they'll be having some French commentary going on. If you're more comfortable listening to some of that language, feel free to head over there. They'll take good care of you.
Yeah, we're looking out for you guys. We're looking out for you.
So, you want to give people a little bit of an idea what the difference with standard is, since, people might be more used to open from this particular tournament.
Yep, I'll get that right away. Standard is essentially what you become. Actually, not what become. Standard is essentially the same thing as if you're playing a vanilla Link to the Past game. You start off in Link's house, you grab the items from the chest there, do your map check and all that. Go drop down into Uncle and save Zelda through the Hyrule Castle, bring her to the Sanctuary, and then you're off to the races.
Yep, and with the added benefit of with this not being a assured sword, they might get, any random one of 7 weapons to go through escape with.
And we're underway.
Uncle concerned about some Weetabix he needs to buy, and we get a heart container in Link's house that, it's not the worst thing to get as the first chest.
Yeah, an initial heart instead of the original 3 is very nice at the very start of the game. Although, to be fair, it's still kind of small. Map check was given out by Linlinlin. I think I saw Eastern Palace having a crystal, and also Desert Palace having a crystal.
Yep, and Hera is a 5/6 crystal, so all 3 crystals in the light world today. That's a lot better than what they got yesterday.
That's for sure. Our standard weapon is going to be the Cane of Burna.
I like seeing Cane of Burna. It's one of the easier weapons to get through when you know what you're doing. Despite when you don't know quite as well, it can be a real big pain to work with. The downside is you don't get a whole lot of bomb farming you can try to do with it.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on here. So, I like the fact that you can lock enemies up against the back wall, but it's also the magic consumption and the fact that you can't farm bombs as well.
Yeah, and it's a little bit mitigated in D31 now that prize packs are vanilla again. Usually as soon as you get one drop from any given enemy group, you know if they're going to have bombs in the pack and if you should even bother trying.
Yeah, so at this point, what they really hope for is that the prize pack isn't, the guards here aren't the prize pack, the bomb prize pack, so, not like that matters, so, a whole bunch of rupees here at the start, in the map chest.
Okay, we finally get a drop from one of the guards. It is a heart. If I recall correctly, the drop table that starts with a heart is a bomb holding pack. But it's a few down the line, and with that Cane of Burna as your weapon, it's going to be rough to get enough drops for it.
Yeah, that is true. So there's a fairy in there as well. There's the map in the boomerang chest.
Now we're heading down to everybody's favorite friend, the ball and chain guard. With Berna, you're almost universally going to see them just grab 2 pots and chuck them at the guard, instead of trying to kill him with the 8 hits of Berna it would take to get him down.
Yeah, the reason being is that the pots do tempered sword damage as opposed to the Burna damage that you normally get.
Oh, that was a beautiful full magic drop for Bonta that let him save a little bit of time there. Linlinlin getting the first drop he has seen this whole escape sequence on that guard right there has to do the double pot strat or he'll be out of magic very soon.
Yeah, that's a nice thing about Bonta having the magic drop there, as opposed to Lin having to having to save some magic there. Well, using magic for the Burna instead of just using whatever they can to do save to actually get the prize pack moving around.
And now that we have Zelda, it's just a matter of walking back upstairs, slowly going through the same path we just went through in reverse. Because unlike an open, you can't just death warp and get back to the start.
Yeah, because that actually saves a checkpoint when you attempt to death warp.
No drop off of that guard. I do believe that the 4th drop in this pack is the bomb, so if Bonta can push 1 more, he'll have a bomb drop for the back here. Linlinlin just getting continuously super unlucky with these drops.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the prize packs are also on a specific randomization drop, like a randomized timer, like a chance to drop.
Every enemy you kill is a 50-50 shot to drop an item or not. So Linlinlin has gotten a lot of unlucky kills here.
Okay, yeah, that explains it. There's a bomb drop.
Yep, they're all paying out with the 8 drops. That'll be Linlinlin's best chance here, is to spam the cane on those ropes and hope for at least getting to the full magic drop.
Yeah, because I think the ropes are also in the same pool as the guards. Am I mistaken?
Nope, you're correct there. And then getting the full magic drop, now able to kill those snakes and gets an 8 bombs off there as well. So they're both going to get the back of escape. No one's going to be off to an immediate disadvantage here.
Yeah, that's really nice for Lin to actually pay out with the luck here with this bomb. Also, we have plenty of bombs on our way over to Kakariko and so on and so on. Back of Escape's going to give us some bombs in return, flippers, and a heart piece.
Flippers are a nice find. They, if you can get the money together for Zora, which it looks like they will be able to, it lets you route that in alongside South Shore without having to sequence break it. You can note both runners coming up to the top and throwing a bomb at that upper door. When you have the bombs to spare, it is a decent chunk faster to do that way than go out the bottom door.
Yeah, Sanctuary has the shovel too, and Bonta actually leaves in sub 6. That is a really optimal time to leave the escape sequence with in a standard seed, especially in NMG. Just having that 6-minute timer, like having like at least the top runners would better off just get the escape sequence done in at least under 6 minutes.
Yep, pretty much for entirely different reasons than NMG. It takes about as long as NMG. It's kind of entertaining. In NMG, you don't open the chests, but you have to deal with the text boxes. In Rando, you open all the chests, but don't have to deal with the text boxes. And it actually balances out rather well a lot of the time.
Yeah, it looks like I think the tier 2 tree pull will happen to be bombs as well.
We went from not a lot of bombs to here, have all the bombs you could possibly want.
Yeah, nothing in the Lost Woods aside from that, from a heart piece and 20 rupees.
Yep, and Bonta heading down to Kakariko. There's going to be a nice 13 items to check down here, which, you're probably going to get something that you care about. Maybe not a lot of things, but probably something.
Yeah, typically here with the 13 items, this is the biggest check you can make in the early game here.
Linlinlin heading over to check the lumberjack cave instead of going straight down the Kakariko.
Yeah, this will give us a bit of information right now as if it's ag required or not, but then again, if it's not nothing of worth, then hey, we don't have to kill Aga 1 just for whatever it was, which was 3 bombs, but we still have to, there might be events where we need Aga 1 to get into the Dark World.
Exactly, and over here in Blind's hut, we did find a bottle, so we're going to be able to check Sick Kid while we're here. And I kind of like this. Linlinlin taking this whirlpool that's going to take him right down to the Ice Rod Cave area. Going to be able to kind of route a little bit funky here. I like it.
Yeah, I really like this. Having to do South Shore instead of having to do something like just going for Kakariko, it's a different route diversions that some riders will tend to do instead of having to go straight for Kakariko, which Bonta gained the gloves out of.
Gloves are nice, and I know yesterday at least in Linlinlin's routing, he went to Mini Moldorm Cave to dam to Agina to do South Shore. So getting that Ice Rod Cave check out of the way early allows him to do that without having to orphan that location, which is a very, very heads-up use of those flippers to let that route work. But that flute makes this really hurt.
Yeah, that is very true. We have logical access to Death Mountain, and we also have fast travel. And the fact that the convenience of the flute in Kakariko, this makes this really painful for Lin's routing. As once Bonta finishes up his flute sequence, he will have access to a bird where he will be able to call upon it and flute to 8 predefined locations, which includes at least Death Mountain. Not Dark Death Mountain, but Death Mountain, which is now in logic.
Yeah, notably, the Agina Cave check that I'm guessing Linlinlin is planning to do here is going to be a lot quicker with the flute than it would be with just walking. Sick Kid with $20 is not very exciting at all.
Yeah, but it is a check that you can make as a 1 max position and a sword that to round everything out.
Yeah, that's a nice thing to get. We do find the mushroom over here in Mini Moldorm Cave, which it's something, maybe. We'll find out later. It's 3 bombs on the library, and now we're gonna see the dam get checked here. Bonta will be joining Linlinlin at the dam here very shortly, if this race game is empty.
Yeah, and along the route too, he's going to do the shovel spots, and also route that through into there. Looks like he might have found something.
Yeah, that was the fire rod on the race game here, so definitely gonna go grab that.
Yeah, there's 2 ways to actually check race game. Either you want to do it blind, or you can just see it. However, blind checking it can be really useful. It actually saves some time from having to walk if there's an item here like the fire rod, which saves us some time from just seeing it.
To answer quickly a question in chat, this is the quote-unquote winners bracket of this group. So whoever loses this is not eliminated, they just go down to the lower bracket of the group and have to win 1 more match to be able to get into the main 64-person bracket. The winner will qualify into that main 64 bracket, and the winner of this will be in the top 32 seeds of that bracket, with the loser in the having the chance to get the bottom 32 seed.
And the hookshot was picked up in the shovel spot. That shovel, at least for Lin, he will have access to the shovel, but the fact that the flute is in Kakariko and Lin is opting to probably do the Kakariko checks very later on in the early game, it hurts, especially because now Bonta has access to East Death Mountain.
Bonta, my friend, You just walked into the dam 3 times trying to get that hook clip, instead of just missing it once and pushing the other block aside and doing a normal trip through the dam. That was definitely just a time waste just to land that hook skip.
Yeah, to be fair, missing the hook clip isn't that bad. But it is really cool because, oh, there's the mirror from the man underneath the bridge.
We're getting a lot of items very early here.
Yeah, that also now means that pretty much the entirety of Death Mountain is in logic amongst the two, at least on the common collective consensus.
Yeah, they've got Hera access with the mirror, they got the East Death Mountain access with the hookshot. Pretty much the only thing up there they can't get is whatever's in Spike Cave and the stuff on Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, but at this point in the game, it's also very kind of early. Also, the bow in the waterfall cave.
This seed is too friendly. Something is going to go horribly wrong here.
Yeah. Now, the fact that we have a fire rod on Bonta's side and Lin having the bow. Now, in version 31, the fire rod can be logically required to get through dark rooms with a torch box. If the big key in Eastern Palace is not in the vanilla big key chest, then we can logically kill off Armos.
Yep, so that's just another thing they can do, another place where their Moon Pearl, their Hammer, their Titan's Mitt, whatever the Dark World access may be, can be hiding out somewhere.
And Zora giving a 10% return for Linlinlin.
I see he was feeling generous today.
Pretty much. And the Cadence of Mario is locked behind the mushroom.
Which Linlinlin will be getting here very soon. Going to be taking this whirlpool right here straight to the mushroom spot. It's still slower than just using the flute as Bonta was able to do, but this whirlpool does make it relatively close. And of course, we haven't been to the Dark World yet, so we don't know what we're going to need for dungeons. For all we know, both T-Rock and Misery Mire are pendants, and we're, getting very close to go mode already. But as it stands, we're going to need the hammer, we're going to need the mitts, we're probably going to need at least one other thing. But they're getting a lot of stuff very, very early, which is kind of annoying sometimes because it opens up so much right away.
Oh, Bonta now, with the hook shot and the mirror and the bow and all that. Again, the fire rod being on the race game is nice. And Lin also going to grab the hook shots from the dig game. Going to route Kakariko from the bottom to the top.
Yeah, I do really like the way that Linlinlin used those flippers to kind of leverage a less common route here, but unfortunately, like I said earlier, that flute being there was the worst situation for him. Just because Bonta has now done the things that Linlinlin has done, but faster.
Yeah, definitely. Bonta gonna do... Technically, the old man came as out of logic here, but he's gonna rescue the old man here by using his sword to at least guide his way through the dark room here, because dark caves in this with a dark room, of course, they don't have a torch box in there, so you have to use your sword to guide your way through, or anything that can actually figure out what you're doing, unless you at least know what the route is, and you can just do it without the sword at all.
Yeah, the old man cave is one of those ones where you can do it without a guide relatively often at this level of play if you need to. But if you have the sword, you just make sure you don't waste time walking up against the wall because you mistime something.
Yeah, so there's the item there looks like there was probably nothing there. Now to make things would have made things a lot more better for these. Oh, actually, I was going to mention that right now. If we hadn't found the hammer on the top of Spectacle Rock, we would have the entirety of Death Mountain, at least the East Death Mountain, locked off from Bonta if he was going from Hera. But the fact that the hammer is right on top of Spectacle Rock, that is very convenient.
And we find Swamp, Ice, and Thieves Town as our pendant. Swamp being the green. I did miss our other 5-6 crystal.
It was on Turtle Rock.
Aha. So that means that we're going to need at least one medallion. We are going to need the Ice Rod in addition to the Mitts and the Moon Pearl. And those are the hard items to find. So all these early things might mean nothing.
Lin now and Kakariko are gonna get his flutes and now activate the bird and all that.
Yeah, this is one of those moments as someone who starts on non-Kakariko paths decently often. This is one of those moments where you just have that little bit of discomfort, like, well, I just wasted a bunch of time.
And Bonta setting up for the Hera pot here, doing a different setup than the one I know of, and that is the Dracaris setup, which just involves having to put the bomb in a specific position on that you line yourself up with the bottom of the blue tile, and then line yourself up on the right tile, and then pause buffer to oh my, that's the second
Moon Pearl.
That's the second time in a row that I saw the vanilla Moon Pearl when I'm commentating. That is brilliant.
That is pretty good. So
yeah.
At this point, they've got like the entire world open to them except Dark Death Mountain and a couple dungeons.
Yeah, that was Darkhold Axis too, which is really funny. And it's the same thing, and it's kind of funny because it actually a Hera pot was also needed for that. That Hera pot was also done as well. That's really great. But now Bonta gonna do the Moldorm fights. Just 3 hits with the hammer and you're good to go. Just don't get just don't get hit by Mold. By the Moldorm and you'll fall off. And Bonta will draw first blood here.
Yep, and finds those arrows upstairs, so there's not going to be an item in the basement they're not going to have to worry about. If they need to go back down for that any time in the future, they're done with Hera forever.
Thanks in part to the Spectacle Rock, he will have access to East Death Mountain.
Yeah, the biggest convenience this gives him is being able to do Spiral Cave before Paradox Cave. That way there, if he wants to, he can just save and quit out of Paradox Cave instead of having to go through the whole path.
Yeah, but since Bonta doesn't have the boots here, the Spiral Cave is going to be long and arduous. Very, very slow.
Mini Moldorm gave him a hug as an apology. That was nice of him.
There's 10 arrows in Spiral Cave. Gonna prep the Mire here, so that way he can delete the block that is on the bottom of Paradox Cave here.
Yep, a little bit faster than going in the bottom door and then falling down. And Linlinlin now on his way up Death Mountain going to find the hammer, clear out Hera, find the Moon Pearl, and then be heading right alongside to East Death Mountain as well.
Paradox Cave him a total of 7 checks here, and the top 5 is where the big of the value here is. 10 bombs, 20 rupees, or not 10 bombs, 3 bombs, 20 rupees. The lamp.
So we get a couple of nice to haves there. The lamp you don't need at this level of play, but you like to have it because it makes things a little bit quicker. The Bloomerang really only matters for GT, where the NMG strats are what a lot of people are used to, and they use the Bloomerang.
Yeah, and also it leaves, it puts the back of pod into logic because there's not enough torch boxes to light with the fire rod.
Yeah, the U room was in logic before. Now with the lamp, the dark maze will be, as well as the boss, so they can clear that out in one go, fully logically now.
Yeah, and now Bonta is going to go to Hype Cave, or as I like to call it, Cave 73, because there's usually not a lot of hype in there.
See what we get today. That's a heart container. That's not the worst thing I've seen in there.
Titan's Mints.
That's pretty good. And a Master Sword.
Yeah, not perfectly decent Hype Cave.
Yeah, I would have no complaints as a runner. Now, at some point here, you are going to want to go to both the Misery Mire area and Dark Death Mountain, not only because of, the obvious there are items there, but also because you want to know what kind of medallions you're going to be looking for sooner rather than later. Once you find the Ice Rod, it's just a medallion hunt. If you know you only need to find one of them, it might save you some time. Of course, there's also the option that we find, the medallions and then have to go on an Ice Rod hunt, which is far more common, but I'm hoping for the best here. And go visit the old man, Sahasrara, see what he's got going on. I do believe that we saw that from Linlinlin already. So a small benefit, or a small bit of that time gained back there.
Yeah, definitely here. So the fact that I like this play for I like this play for Bonta. He's gonna route in Palace of Darkness along with Eastern Palace, by mirroring in front of the entrance, because they share the same entrance amongst the two.
Yep, and in terms of the items in here, there are 5 items in Pod, 3 in Eastern. They could potentially get something important. They could be all empty, but neither dungeon is sped up much by Go mode anyway, so it's not like you're really hurting to come here early.
Oh, no kidding, yeah. And plus, there's a lot of checks here. There's 5 here in Pod, and there's also the 3 in Eastern.
At this point, pretty much the only difference between the two is that flute. They've both been playing well. Neither of them have run into any major problems at any point. Just kind of, one of them had the flute for everything in the light world. One of them had it to get to Death Mountain. And that's a time difference that's certainly visible at the moment.
Yeah, very much true here.
Vanilla Big Key Chest is a small key. Hooray. That's medallion number 1 of 3. That's Bombos. We might need Bombos, we might not. It might be completely useless depending on what TR and Misery Mire require today.
So it's a 33% chance based on if it's going to be Bombos. So
yeah, chances that one of the 2 dungeons will need it are relatively decent. But whether they'll both need it, those are a lot lower odds.
There's a big key here.
I always like to say it during the front of the pod, but for those who aren't aware, the front of the pod will always have 4 small keys. So if you find 2 things that aren't small keys and you have like the vanilla big key chest left over, you can just skip it because it's going to be a small key. People tend to not know that little tidbit, so pointing it out early is generally, pretty helpful to people.
So it looks like Bonta is setting up for a trick known as the hammer yum.
Cut it real close there, but he landed it.
Yeah, he landed it, so he's fine.
Got blue mail from the big chest, a compass from the first darkroom chest, and a map from the other one. Yay, dungeon item made. Also, I was wrong. Linlinlin did not check Sahasrara yet, so that super exciting 320 rupees and heart piece were not known beforehand. The cape doesn't do a whole lot for them. It'll open up Bumper Cave, but that's about it. And now, for the first time since they were in Escape, Linlinlin and Bonta are in the same place at the same time. Miracles do happen.
But in this case here, Bonta, eventually Lin is going to head to the back of Pod to fight the Helmasar King.
And that fight has the potential to be a little bit quicker for Bonta. The NMG strat is to hammer the mask 17 times, and then do 3 hammers to the face, followed by a spin attack. That is the quickest option, but it wouldn't work for Linlinlin, who is still on Fighter Sword, due to not having done Hype Cave yet.
Yeah, and the process too would also get the mitts once Lin goes to Hype Cave.
Very true, and a very nice turtle room from Bonta there. That room, when it goes right, is a very, very happy moment.
And yeah, Bonta's heading to the Helmasar King fight. Like you said, 17 hammer shots to the mask of Helmasar King. And then it's a matter of finishing the job, hitting the gem that's protecting Helmasar King.
And we always get people who are surprised either by the fact that you can use the hammer on the mask, or the fact that you can use bombs on the mask. A lot of people either know one or the other, but not both. Very good kill, though. Well, I should rephrase that. It was a very sloppy kill, but he recovered well from taking a couple hits, and was able to get through it without death, which is much more important than just doing it cleanly.
Yep, very much true. So that is the second crystal of the race, or second crystal of the seed, rather, for Bonta.
Yep, and Linlinlin, if he routes quote-unquote optimally from here, going to the boss early would allow, if he did a hammer yump, he could skip the 2 chests in the dark maze. I kind of doubt that's the route that's going to happen here, but in a quote-unquote optimal world, that could be done.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that the NMG run overlaps with Randomizer. or pretty much the other way around. Randomizer, how it overlaps with the NMG in terms of the strategies used in a speedrun setting.
Sorry, one more time.
I'm sorry. The NMG route is there's a lot of overlap between the rando, well, at least again the other way around. Like for example, the Ice Palace bomb jump is used in both Randomizer and the NMG run.
Yes, I get what you mean. Yeah, there's quite a bit of that. The hammer jump kind of... It depends on the mode. Like, Key Sanity, people will always hammer jump, because it saves you a key. It's a direct benefit. A lot of other modes, people just kind of skip it because, well, you're opening the chest, you have the key anyway, let's just go through it.
Yeah.
Our first item from Eastern Palace is $50. Nobody really cares about money at this point. They've already done Zora, they have more than enough for every other money usage in the game. They're happy where they are.
Yeah, typically you would need at least 760 rupees to at least cover the most of the money in the entire game.
And interesting that I don't think we saw... Wait, did we not see either map or compass? We might not have. Either way, we're going straight to Armos Knights, not to the vanilla big key chest. If I had to guess, I kind of lost track for a moment there, and I don't know if he found either the map, compass, or both. But it's
the map was
possible
picked
that
up.
both locations are... Oh, it was?
Yeah, the map was picked up.
Okay, so this is a little bit of a gamble. It's a 50-50 that the item will be here, and if it's not, then that is just an orphan location for pretty much ever.
Bonta almost having the quick kill, just an almost escape in there. It's a kind of a tight spot, a tight enough trick to do. Unfortunately for Bonta, that compass was dropped from the Armos Knights, so most likely Bonta won't want to go to the big key chest to grab the remaining item.
Yeah, likely not. Yep, there's the flute. Gonna head off to the next place, which will be Kakariko. Okay, I'm kind of surprised they didn't go to Mire area, Death Mountain just yet. With Thieves Town and Thieves Town and Skullwood's a crystal, but Thieves Town's a pendant. And you could get that information on the medallions while checking as many or more locations by mirroring over or fluting over to one of those two spots.
Yeah, but also Thieves Town is also a green pendant, so Bonta could also clear it if he wants to check out Sahasrara.
Swamp Palace is a green pendant.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misread it.
Yep, I can't talk. I made like 4 different verbal mistakes during the last thing I said. So
yeah, I'm looking at the thing now. I'm looking at Swamp Palace at like Thieves Town.
That's fair. Thieves Town is a lot better dungeon than Swamp Palace, though. I'll take Thieves any day. But we are coming up on an interesting moment here. As I mentioned earlier, yesterday's race was pretty much decided by Bonta getting randoed and last locationing the hammer. If there is an important item in the vanilla big key chest here in Eastern, we could be en route to a very similar style of outcome.
Yeah, this is gonna be very tight because an orphan check could potentially be what you need to finish the seed. You don't want to orphan items if you can avoid it, but if you have to, for the sake of time, if you feel like that's the right call to make, you can orphan it. It's just that it might come to bite you in the tail afterwards if it's a progression item.
Yeah, and when you're playing players of a high caliber, like pretty much anyone in this tournament is doing, you gotta pick your battles. You gotta know what you're willing to risk and what you're not. And, you know, the one-off location back here, it was something Bonta was willing to risk, and if it comes back to bite him, that's rando, so to speak.
Yeah. Speaking of Bonta, he's on the Mafula fight. Just hit him and hit Mafula around. Just make sure you don't hit him while he's on the spikes because that negates the attack.
He's very close to death, but last hit gets him down with 1 heart left.
Yeah, that was a close call. But that will be the next crystal for Bonta. And Lin's gonna check the vanilla big key chest.
Let's see, is this important? No, not important in the least.
Yeah, that was just a shield. It's completely pointless to just check that. Or, well, not pointless to check it, but it's just rather pointless item. Just, I mean, yes, it's the fire shield can block projectiles, but in general, though, that fire shield is very useless here. Bonta going to head for the Mire area now.
Yeah, I see his plan now. He just did Skull Woods, which was a crystal, pieced out from there to go elsewhere. Mire does require bombos, so we have the medallion for Mire. We can full clear that as it stands. Back-to-back big 20s from the Mire shed. Someone was storing, you know, a little bit of spending money back there.
Yeah, and Bonta is actually heading for Misery Mire.
Yeah, it's a crystal you can full clear. There's no reason not to get in there and get it done. It is one of those dungeons that can speed up decently from being in go mode, but and Linlinlin nails that quick kill that Bonta missed slightly. So very, very clean kill on Lin's side.
Very clean.
So now after Mire, Bonta's probably going to check Checkerboard, Cave, and Mirror over to Desert. Desert is going to give us information on the last possible quote-unquote final item that they might run into, which is if boots are required to clear the dungeon, then, you know, he's going to need boots eventually. If not, then that is down to Ice Rod and maybe a medallion.
And that also leads to the possibility of the Ganon's Tower Big Key being on the torch, which we need the boots for. But that's like way, way down the road.
Yeah, that 1 in 22 chance is the thing that as a runner in a tournament, again, playing people of this level, you don't really have the ability to try to focus on finding the boots just in case. You just assume no, and if you need the boots, you scramble at the last minute.
Yeah, it's something that the runners do not want to see when they're on their way to finishing the rest of the seed, because they have one other check they have to do. If it's not in against Tower, then that's another problem in itself.
Yeah, but at this point, items are matched up. Bonta has that Skull Woods clear over Linlinlin. And other than that, they've done most of the same stuff. And Bonta finds that early big key, considers going straight for Vitreous, and thinks better of it. And heads down here to the cutscene chest.
Yeah, having a bit of knowledge about the fact that there's a full magic here, just before the cutscene chest, which is a 17 second cutscene of just rumbling.
Yep, and while it's the same length as the one in Pod, you know, it feels a lot longer just because you can't watch the wall move. You don't really feel like anything's happening. You're just kind of waiting.
Yeah, it's the illusion of waiting for a cutscene.
And all that for a small key. Which is the rude way for that key layout to work. If you find the small key first, you know the big key is in the other chest. When you find the small key second, in the cutscene chest, you're just like, man... The items remain hidden. We're gonna go check the chest to the left of the big chest itself, and then onward to what'll be a relatively rough Vitreous fight.
Yeah, typically you want to just like have a good enough sword, like a tempered sword, or the silver arrows to make the first part of the Vitreous fight faster. I could usually compare the first part of Vitreous with the silvers to playing a game of Space Invaders. But there's another medallion that is Ether.
So that leaves one possibility for a annoying to find medallion. But yeah, I think that Space Invaders analogy is pretty fitting for the silver arrow fight. For Master Sword with regular arrows, Bonta has 8. That is exactly enough to kill Phase 2 of Vidi, which means that he has to kill Phase 1 with the Master Sword, which is not super simple, and get to Phase 2 on his health that he's got. Definitely doable for a runner of his caliber, but it's not an easy fight like you could have even if you just had Tempered instead of Master. Now we're down to 3.5 hearts, which is not a lot of leeway here. Nails some spooky action at a distance, though, and gets that switch hit from, you know, the other side of the room.
Yeah, I was wondering what Bonta was going to try and do, because I saw him doing a different setup than normal, because he doesn't have the boots to kick up the dust in order to prevent the pot-breaking particle from overriding the spooky action.
Oh man, his health has me worried. Oh, he's got a blue potion. Never mind, he's safe.
He's good. He's fine. So here's the Vitreous fight. Just all you gotta do is swing or spin at these mini eyeballs.
Yep, he did accidentally poke one, which cut off his spin, which kind of made this a little bit tighter than it otherwise would have been. But now you can throw on the cape and pretty much have zero worries for the rest of this fight.
And yeah, here comes phase 2 for Vitreous. Exactly 8 shots in the bow. Actually, well, now 2 shots, but still.
Yeah, a couple of those spins hit Vidi with the small eye still alive, so he didn't get as many arrows. You can actually kill Vidi without killing all the small eyeballs. It's just very, very tough.
That I didn't know of.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the screen, Linlinlin is making his way down through the basement of Mire, going to be coming up on Vitreous himself, and probably going to have a pretty similar fight. Also has that blue potion, now that I know that's what was in one of the bottles, so similarly low health now, but won't be a concern for the fight.
And since Lin actually decided to break his spooky action because he just went for the Samaria instead of just having to use that fire rod, because that's actually a thing I've never seen. It's kind of interesting because you have to use the fire rod, I think, at a specific time, that from what I can tell from Bonta's set up for the spooky action.
Yeah, the idea with that one is you want to keep that altitude variable that you change for spooky action set so that you can easily, effectively, so that while it's in use, much like it is with the boot dust, you can't overwrite it. So when you don't have the boots, you use something else that uses that same value, and then your Samaria can't overwrite that, and you keep everything stored up.
Yeah, it's very complicated and would take a long explanation that we don't want to go over.
Especially if you get into why the Ancilla stuff works at all, and you have to start talking about the different levels of Ancilla glitches that have been found in the last year. It gets weird.
Yeah, if you want to know a little bit more about it, just search up, I believe, Ancilla or just spooky action on Link to the Past or something like that. Just it will take us an eternity, and we would just want to talk about rando instead of just that kind of glitch entirely. And again, speaking of rando, Bonta, who is a rando runner, is going to fight against Lamolus.
Yep, and going to Lammo first with the plan of if the item is in the big chest, you can go grab it afterwards and no time loss. But if the item is on Lamolus, you get it now and you don't have to go back in for that big chest at all.
Lynn checked Checkerboard Cave for 300 rupees. Again, we have plenty of rupees for the rest of the sea. We're not really too worried about that. Very clean fight.
And gets the worst boomerang. Yay!
Well, to be fair, the magic boomerang isn't as bad as it used to be because of you can set up for splashation, but since we hit the flippers, that really doesn't matter. It's still an interesting little thing that was discovered recently.
Very, very true. And now Bonta with 6 crystals at the 49.5-minute mark is going to go check Checkerboard Cave, and I have to imagine probably going to head up Death Mountain and make that check Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave, and then make that T-Rock Gamble dive. There are other options on the table, but that's a very, very solid risk to take.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because at this point in the race, none of the runners actually dived pendant dungeons fully.
Yeah, I mean, you can go into Swamp, you can go into Thieves Town, you can go into Ice. Those are all awful. You got the overworld around Thieves Town, which isn't bad, but on Death Mountain, you got 6 items in the Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave. You find out if you have the medallion for T-Rock, and if you go inside, you have another 5 to 6 items that Ice Rod could be in there. It's a lot of checks very quickly.
Definitely. Now Bonta is going to commit to this play for Dark Death Mountain and also Turtle Rock.
Why not both?
Yeah, why not both?
Now, he is going into this Dark World portal here at the bottom, which will be convenient if he doesn't end up opening TR. Like, if TR is Quake, it'll be convenient. Otherwise, I think it still comes out a little bit slower than just going up and going to Dark World at TR to begin with.
Yeah, both aren't bad options. TR is the most fastest, though.
And Linlinlin getting Lambo down at 5 crystals, still just 1 Skull Woods behind Bonta.
Yeah, with 6 crystals already in the bank and just under an hour, that goes to show how fast these runners are.
It also says a lot about the seed. The seed opened up a lot of things very early, and if this Ice Rod turns out to be a jerk, it could turn into a, 2-hour seed that looked like it was going to be an hour 15 seed.
Yeah, it's all about that Ice Rod hunt. But that powder does now lead to the possibility that Magic Bat could also have it.
Of course, when you're getting down toward the end, you start seeing all the fetch quests. And also bombos for T-Rock, so yeah, we are down to the Ice Rod hunt. So what do you think? Are we going to find an Ice Rod here in T-Rock, or is it going to be hidden in the plethora of locations we have not yet checked?
I just hope it's an Ice Rod. It's not an Ice Rod. It's here in Turtle Rock. That would save Bonta a whole lot of time. Although, to be fair, there's still that impending fear that, let's say, the boots are required to get the big key out of Ganon's tower from the torch.
That's another possibility of how the seed could go wrong. If they do find Ice Rod in here, and then it turns into, oh, by the way, you're not hunting the Ice Rod, you're hunting the boots today.
The true final boss.
And if you're a fan of Lin, you're hoping that the Ice Rod is not in T-Rock. Because after Skull Woods, Linlinlin is also going to go up to Death Mountain, almost assured. Is also going to dive T-Rock, almost assured. And he's not going to catch up sheerly based on execution here. He needs an element of randomness to kind of have his decision-making pay off for him. If Ice Rod is in T-Rock, it'll be Bonta's game to lose. If it's not, it's still very much up in the air.
Yeah, again, it really comes down to that big key on Ganon's tower.
There's the big key of T-Rock, as well as another small key, so we're moving right along.
Lin drops down into the Mothra fight.
We did see Bonta have it end up relatively close here. So far, Lin played it pretty safe, just waiting for Mothra to move away from the spikes. And I see chat now doing the thing where they try to think of the most evil possible option they possibly can, and doing quite a good job of it so far. And Linlinlin with Mothra down at 6 crystals as well, just looking for the Ice Rod. Knows that there might be a medallion need, but we'll be finding out very soon that no, we've got the medallion, just need the Ice Rod. And ever since Death Mountain, these two have routed very similarly. Bonta did Skull Woods a little bit earlier, but there was nothing there. He did Hype Cave a little bit earlier, but it didn't make a difference doing it when he did versus when Lin did. They've pretty much been on each other's trail the entire seed.
Yeah, and this and really comes down to maybe just that Ice Rod hunt. Lin is actually heading up for Dark Death Mountain. Going to actually take the Turtle Rock entrance, which is again a bit faster than running from the bottom up to the top.
So yesterday, looking for Hookshot, Lin dipped into T-Rock before doing Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave. If he does that here, that's actually a major time return on Bonta. He would be, starting the dungeon while Bonta's halfway through, instead of when he's getting close to done, which would be a bigger change than could be expected.
Well, Lin's opening up Turtle Rock right now, while Bonta is heading for Mimic Cave.
Good old Mimic Cave, everyone's favorite location.
And it appears as if Lin's actually going to go and check Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave before heading into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The TR play yesterday was a really hefty gamble. Doing that back-to-back is not, or not doing that back-to-back is definitely not a huge surprise, but it definitely, if Ice Rod turns out to be in T-Rock, it would have paid off.
So, to get into the heads of Bonta and Lin might feel behind for not doing Skull Woods earlier than they used to. Although Bonta could also be thinking he's ahead just because he was doing all those gambles that did pay off for him.
So the Skullwoods thing won't really make a difference because there was nothing there. It's not like there was, progression there important. Your opponent probably went in and did pretty similar.
Right.
If anything, Linlinlin has probably felt behind since getting to Kakariko and finding that flute. And nothing has really happened that would be unlikely enough for Bonta to have done to have really made up for that in your mind as a runner. That, hey, I found this flute super late compared to what my opponent did.
Yeah, doing 1v1s is you have to think about your opponent at every step of the way. You might, if you're thinking that if someone is doing if they did a big gamble and you did something that's way behind, like you found a progression item that's way behind, then that could be a huge issue. You might feel like you're behind, or if you did a big gamble that paid off well, and you don't think the runner has done it anytime soon, you might feel like you're ahead. Turtle Rock unfortunately didn't have anything, so we'll have to find the Ice Rod.
Yeah, and what I won't be surprised to see here is Bonta is very likely going to prioritize checks that don't involve a mirroring. Because if you can find the Ice Rod without using the mirror, and using Death Warps on the Overworld to get back to Light World, he can preserve that mirror portal and just jump right back to Laser Bridge when he finds the Ice Rod. Says, maybe Ice Rod is in Ice Rod Cave today. No, it's not that easy, Bonta.
Now there's a lot of things that a lot of checks that we can do. We have Spike Cave, we have Sahasrara from the Green Pendant, we have Turtle Rock, Ice Palace, Skull Woods. That's not Skull Woods. Swamp Palace, Ice Palace, and Thieves Town. We also have a lot of overworld checks, like Graveyard Ledge. Don't have access to Bonk Rocks or King's Tomb. We have the Magic Bat.
Yeah, but what we're seeing now is Spike Cave, which is not a very exciting check, but it's a necessary one.
Definitely.
And to respond to chat real quick, yes, if you try to preserve the portal here and the Ice Rod is in Swamp, then you're gonna last location it, most likely. But, oh, that was close. Oh lord, it was in Spike Cave. Bonta is in Go mode.
Schrodinger's Go mode. Because we don't know if the boots are in...
That's true, and I'm gonna be curious to see if Linlinlin also goes to Spike Cave real early here. There's a very good argument to be made for it, for sure. But it's also a very slow check that people like to avoid. So yeah, now without having mirrored, Bonta is going to be able to just walk back up to the top of Death Mountain, hop down into that little middle ledge, and be right back at Trinex, which will be a very quick turnaround. Now, Linlinlin going to check the big chest inside T-Rock before checking Bonta. Bonta? No. Bonta? Turn around. Okay, he remembered. I was very concerned there that he was just going to go reopen the T-Rock portal instead of jumping down here.
Yeah, that's a good call to say. That's a good idea here for Bonta because he remembers the mirror portal that he set. So that's some really good knowledge that he remembers here. So yeah, this was actually pretty quick. If if the big key is not on the torch, then this is actually a pretty quick seed.
Yeah, at the moment we're in line for Master Sword Silverless Ganon, which is never fun, but I've said it before, these are two very high tier runners, and Master Sword Silverless is not gonna stop them.
So here's the Try Next fight. So thinking about the Ganon fights, the Ganon fight here. At the most, we have Master Sword Silverless. If we find a sword here, finding a sword in Ganon's tower, or the silver arrows in Ganon's tower, then most likely it'll actually speed up the fights a little bit more. Finding a sword here for Bonta would be very ideal, because all you'll need to do is Silverless.
Yeah, and Silverless itself, once you know how it works, is very easy. It's not a super difficult trick to do consistently. Master Sword Ganon is a much more difficult fight than Tempered Sword.
And Master Sword Silverless is even worse. You have to do 52 spins in order to make that happen. So Bonta now has 7 crystals. I don't think the bot is working, but we'll just do this a little unofficially here. Inside Ganon's tower, there are 22 locations where the big key could potentially be. For 1 to 22, get your guesses in chat where you think the big key might be. I just hope that the big key is not on the torch.
I'm gonna hope it is on the torch, because that'll give a little bit more chance for a much closer race to happen. And I enjoy me some close races.
Yeah, a close race is always the exciting one, that's for sure.
Okay, and Lin has saved and quit out of T-Rock, so even if he goes to Spike Cave right away, the trip back to the boss of T-Rock was going to be pretty long. But not going that way, heading down from Link's house, going to do some Dark World Overworld, which could pay off if boots are here, but...
Yeah. So 21 chests and a torch. Let's do this.
And I was wrong. It's not Dark World Overworld we're doing. We're diving Swamp.
So number 1 is another shield. Number 2 is a key. We're heading. Looks like Bonta's heading for the compass chest.
Yep, this has become one of a couple very common ways throughout GT. Get that small key on the right, just keep going right. There are a couple other ways that you see very often, but they've kind of solidified into a few different options that most people will do.
Yeah, routing Ganon's tower, especially if is not like terrible. If it's a close race, then Ganon's tower routing is very important, because that could potentially throw you in the lead. Number 3 is half magic, very nice. Number 4 is bombs. Number 5 is a map. Number 6 is 20 rupees. So it all comes down to that all important torch. If it's not on, if the Ganon's tower big key is not on the torch, Bonta is in full on go mode. Otherwise, the game continues. It is.
Oh my lord.
Oh.
The boots are required. Linlinlin is not out of this yet, folks.
Oh, now I just hope that Bonta finds the boots in Ganon's tower. That now means that if the boots are in Ganon's tower, then Bonta can actually breathe a sigh of relief here.
Get a small key, we get 20 bucks. we find 3 bombs, and we find another small key. So the hunt continues through GT. We're through about half of the dungeon. So Lin's disadvantage here is that Spike Cave is a very bad check, and not going to be something that they prioritize. But the kind of ideal situation for Linlinlin would be to find the book and the boots. That way there, okay, you already have the boots. The book takes you up to Ether Tablet alongside checking Spike Cave. That gets you your Ice Rod, and there's your out back into the seed. So Bonta got himself stuck there, had to go back a little bit. Probably a little moment of concern, like, Lord, I didn't check enough stuff. The boots could be anywhere.
Yeah, it's for Bonta, he's scrambling.
You know, like, on one hand, you tend to think my opponent probably did very similar stuff to me. But on the other hand, you have not checked a lot in this seed. You didn't dip any pendant dungeons, you skipped a ton of overworld. Those boots could be anywhere, and your opponent could have had them from, 30 minutes into the seed all the way till now.
Yeah, that puts you in a situation where you're probably looking for the dot done from your opponent. If you feel that the boots were picked up by your opponent, like you said, 30 minutes into the seed. And
we have found a lot of health in GT. That last rando room had 2 heart containers and a heart piece. But nothing that'll let us go fast. That is what we're looking for. Or at least, you could find a sword or silvers. But no, none of those either. You get nothing.
Good day, sir.
Now we got the Ice Armos coming up. Then we're going to have we're going to have Bob's Chest and then the Ice Armos. Then we have the choice of, do you check the tile room or do you just leave?
Yeah, tile room is something that you don't want to ever go to. But in the events that, in the case of Bonta, he is looking for boots. He has to do tile room. If he actually leaves tile room, then that's an orphan check. Like, let's say the boots are in tile room, and of course, Bonta, he'll be in go mode by then.
That was a very, very unfortunate Armos fight, but gets him down. Still has 8 arrows. And we're mirroring back. Tempered Sword on Argus is a very nice benefit for Lin.
Yeah, that now brings that he will have Silverless Ganon. If he finds the boots, then Lin actually might have a good chance to bring this back.
And we are going to tile room. Gonna probably throw on the cape, just grab onto a wall. That way there it doesn't drain any magic. And you can just kind of hang out and wait.
Yeah, at this point too, you gotta think like, geez, we have to find the boots. Where could it possibly be? Can it be in one of the pendant dungeons? Could it be like in some of the overworld checks or what? You feel again, you feel like you're behind because of that. You aggressively went to do all the crystal dungeons, and the fact that you find the big key on the torch leads you to the impression that maybe your opponent has done it silver arrows.
The silvers in tile room is just rude.
Yeah, that is a cruel place to put the silver arrows in.
So we continue. We're gonna check the Ether Tablet. It's, just up from where the Ice Rod was. It's a good chance, right?
Yeah, the book was found in Ganon's tower, so that could be really.
Oh my lord! That is so good.
The Bonta GT was required double dip for GT. So that's Gomo for Bonta.
Yeah, that's Gomo for Bonta. Unfortunately, it's GG for Lin. not going to be a way to come back from this, especially being so far removed from Spike Cave right now.
Oh, no
But
kidding,
man,
yeah.
And he's now got silver arrows for the Ganon fight too, thanks to looking for those boots. There's a school of thought where if you get the book that early in GT, you just mirror out, check ether. But by not doing that, he got himself silver arrows. So he pretty much got this perfect. Like, this is not a route that is easy to beat. If you didn't do the exact same route as Bonta, you were gonna be behind.
Yeah, especially now that we know that it's required double dip for Ganon's Tower of all things. Like, oh, that's something I have never seen. Well, technically I've seen, yeah. But like a required double dip for for Ganon's Tower, and oh, that is horrible. That is one way to end the scene.
Yeah, I've definitely been there, and in a way, that's kind of a double-edged sword. Because on one hand, the fact that the boots were just waiting right outside on that tablet like that, it makes you laugh. It kind of takes the pressure off. But on the other hand, you're now thinking, what if my opponent was also in GT and they mirrored out right after the book and gambled on that? Now, Bonta's routing has been so good and so effective on this seed, I don't think he's super concerned right now, but... And uses his last 3 arrows to zero cycle Lambo. He's going to pick up more here to use on Ganon. Knowing what pots have what drops is a very, very valuable thing to have at your disposal. We're through the wizard rooms, heading up the annoying bridge to go light some torches. We'll see if Bonta will check the chest at the top here, see if he can find the 4th sword, the one we haven't accounted for.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, too, since Bonta does have the silver arrows, which I don't know if Lin were ever to recover from that, ever recover from the asteroid hunts, he would probably skip out on it. Bonta is actually going to leave 2 chests here. I don't know if he wants to check all 4 of them, but at this point in the game, though, considering that he's got the boots for from the ether tablet, I don't think that's a big concern. He will check this one right here from the pre-Moldorm 2 chest.
Yeah, he's very much capable of Master Sword Ganon. But there is that element of, those checks are quick. If they have a tempered sword, your life gets a lot easier. Nice.
Or you could just hover. Yeah, you could just hover and just forgo the Moldorm 2 chest entirely.
Yeah, that's a slight time gain if you get it, and a very large time loss if you drop it. So it's always a little bit entertaining to see people go for it when we know they really don't have to, probably because they feel like they really have to. That is 2 hits on phase 1 here, 1 on phase 2 with a blue ball getting in the way of another double. That will be numbers 4 and 5. He just needs number 6 right there. And we're off to go fry some bacon.
Yay! There's the 10 bombs from the C-shaped house.
I can't believe that we're seeing the C-shaped house at the same time another runner is going to GT at 1 hour and 17 minutes in. How often do you see a seed where Village of Outcasts goes unchecked this late?
I have never seen that in my entire life, especially now that I've never fully seen a required logic, logically required Ganon's Tower double dip. Just because we found the book, and the book was required to get the boots from the ether tablets. That is something that I will only see in a randomizer.
And Bonta using the Cane of Samaria here to be able to get some extra doubles off on Ganon. If you block yourself between Ganon and the block with that Samaria, you don't get knockbacks. You can just stay still and double spin every time. He's now going to use Cape to be able to stand here a little bit longer, get some more hits in, and Phase 2 is going to be very quick on this.
Yeah, this is something I saw earlier on, and it's actually something pretty effective.
Yeah, it is one of the hardest things in this game to do consistently well. The fact that he never got knocked away once is very impressive in its own right.
And these teleports are actually doing pretty well for Bonta too. Definitely a sub 130.
Probably, well, unless something goes terribly wrong, a sub 120. Ganon's trying to prevent it.
Yeah, but to be fair too, he's only like about a minute and 30 seconds away from not getting sub 120. So this will be fine here. And on the phase 4, just some shots from the silver arrows and you're good to go. You won't have the position for the torch glitch, but that's fine.
Yeah, with silvers, you don't really need the torch glitch. Often you don't even want the torch glitch with silvers, but he gets the torches lit, gets his 3 arrows, and that is going to do it. A GG, and Bonta will be moving on to the top 64 bracket.
Okay, this is going to be sucky here if he falls off here. He's dashed here. Okay, he's good. Okay.
And that
set
is...
in the match with an official SRL time of 1:19:13.
Yep, and Linlinlin immediately afterwards drops a forfeit. Understandable. Same thing as Bonta had yesterday. 2 items away from go mode. Your opponent's already done. You're kind of just done with it at that point. You know you missed something.
Yeah, and pretty much the same thing with Bonta. Len pretty much got randoed.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, just a little glimpse into the Urk, so to speak. Linlinlin immediately asked, Ice Rod? And, or Bonta asked if that was what got Linlinlin. Linlinlin said, yeah, and Bonta's like, Spike Cave. And we are joined by Linlinlin. How are you? GG.
Hello, GG's.
GG.
I mean, Ice Rod's gonna Ice Rod anyways, so...
Yeah, that
Yeah,
ice round.
Ironically, kind of the opposite of yesterday's game.
Yeah, it was in a very bad spot as well. But I don't know, like Bonta's #1 seed. I don't think I looked so bad in overall in that best of 3. Like
Yeah, having been here for 2 of the games, you did not look bad at all. And you did miss out on the fun of the book in GT to the boots on Ether tablet that Bonta got to deal with, so you saved yourself a little bit of headache.
Yeah.
That's fine. Usually I think about going to Spike Cave after Hera, but I was like, I have Dark Claw access. I need to cut the corner. I'll cut that one, I guess.
Yeah, Bonta actually put it off after Hera as well. He ended up going there after dipping T-Rock and getting nothing, and then was able to use his portal at Laser Bridge to go right back into Laser Bridge, which cut a lot of time off.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I didn't even... Given how much of the world we had open left, I was like, I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just going to swamp anyways, so I'll just lose it.
Yeah, that was a very much understandable decision from your end. The Spike Cave play was, I think, the bigger risk of the 2.
That's the thing. We had so much open. Like, I don't want to bother with leaving a portal at this point. Especially when you have the swamp. Like, I didn't check K45. Like, there's a lot of mirror spots that are still open that I still need to check, so... and doing Smith Chain without Mire is just a pain. So don't I was just not gonna leave a portal after dipping TR.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
But yeah, I mean, I won't say I wasn't expecting to win. Of course, you kind of keep hope sometimes. Just no. Looking forward to my next game, I guess, and congratulations to Bonta. I don't know if he went on the French, because I know we also stream on the French SG channel. He might have joined them as well. I should as well after I'm done here, I guess.
Yeah, we'll try not to keep you too long so that you can jump over there as well. I will ask, your next opponent now is going to be the winner of Josh and Incoherent. Obviously, you beat Josh in round 1.
No, it was Incoherent. I beat Incoherent in round 1. I mean...
Oh, yeah, I read that backwards.
Yeah, I'll look forward to that one. I think it's tonight.
I'd have to double check that.
They're already at 1-1 for sure. If I remember correctly. I know I saw it somewhere. Apparently not tonight. I mean, we have 10 days until we need to be done, so that's a lot of time. So, it's on Saturday. Okay, guess I have some days to chill.
That works. So, in the interest of letting you jump over and join the other restream, talk to the commentators over there a little bit, any other words you want to share before you get out of here?
GG to Bonta. Hope I don't face him again, and if I make it to bracket stages. That was a rough. Like that actually made me stress so much for the first time playing Rando, I guess, having to face such an opponent so early into the tournament. But in the end, I still had a lot of fun, and like I played the way I wanted to play, so that's it. I didn't even try for fancy stuff. That's how I play usually, so that's good.
Yeah, I think it was a good series overall, and I am happy that I got the chance to commentate and watch these last 2 races closely, even though they both kind of ended up with that getting randoed situation. They were both fun watches, and you two are always fun to watch.
Alright, thanks for having me. Thanks to the streamers, thanks to you commentators and trackers. Hope I'll see you on my next game, and see you later in the tournament since I still have games to play.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Good luck, and GG one more time.
Yep. Good luck to you, man.
So with that, a quick moment to say, I mentioned it myself, but Bonta and Linlinlin are both fantastic at this game. They're always fun to watch. Go ahead and drop those to a follow. They are very, very fun people to watch. They are worth the time, and they play a lot of Rando. So if you like Rando, you'll see it a lot with them. And to answer chat real quick, we believe Bonta went over to the French restream. He will likely not be joining us here on the English restream. He did not yesterday. So he will be giving his interview over there, but we probably won't be hearing from him in our room.
Yeah, but either way, __ and twitch.tv/Linlinlin. That's Linlinlin NYA. And also, our tracker for tonight, or for this morning rather, was Nifboy. Give him a follow as well as myself, Professor Renderer, and my co-commentator, Be sure to follow the Speed Gaming channels, Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6, as well as ALTTP Randomizer and ALTTP Randomizer 2 through 5, as well as the other speed gaming channels in different languages. Other than that, though, if you got any last words for you, Mentis Man, sign off.
Just real quick, one, I've heard from Rywick that Bonta's mic is out of order, so he wasn't just doing the French interview, he actually couldn't do any of them. But then a quick little look at the schedule for today. We have a nice long break before the next match of the day. The next one is coming up at 2:30 p.m. on Speed Gaming 3. That'll be Humbug versus Yagamoth. We have another one, that'll be F. Coughlin versus Death King. Then we have our next one at 5:20, so another couple hours later. Matt 7898 versus Asazaz on Speed Gaming 2. There's some more throughout the night. I will not list off everything like I did yesterday, but I will mention that there is one going on ALTTP Randomizer tonight at 8:20 p.m., which will be Philion versus Apathy Duck. So point that one out since it's on the other channel. But mostly go ahead and check the schedule if you're interested. We do have several more races today. A couple of them starting later in the night, a couple through the afternoon. Lots of rando to watch, as always, these days.
Yep, definitely.
And those times are in EST. My apologies for not pointing that out. EST for all the times listed there. That said, that was really all I had left to add. So on my end, thank you guys for coming by. Hope you had fun with the race and all that. And we'll see you around next time.
Take it easy, everybody.